Please welcome to the stage from the Compound Podcast, Ian Happ and Dakota Mekkes. And Tom Prizeman.
Oh God. Not the couch, not the couch. Hello, hello, hello. I guess I should open with welcome back to the Compound Podcast. This is episode 214.
Yes.
214 of the Compound Podcast, brought to you by Parse Rum. Parse was out there today. Thank you to our friends at Parse for all the support. Go to Benny's, get your Parse. It's a pretty incredible journey that we've been on. It's really special to be here today. The support from you guys being here, showing up since March of 2020? March of 2020 with one microphone that we would sit. We had this TV theater room, and we would sit crisscross applesauce with the microphone in the center, and we'd all have to talk into it to make sure. And the one time we had Jeremy Piven on, we had the phone held up on speakerphone to
This is causing me so much anxiety right now.
Yeah. And then I'm editing on Zencaster to now being able to, and we got a text from intern Nora today. Intern Nora, throwback. She texted us saying, congrats, but to be here, to have a live show, to have an audience, everybody that listens every week, it means a lot to us. So we really appreciate it. Dakota.
Yes, Ian.
I'm not ready to talk to you yet. Tom.
Okay.
What's up?
Thanks for all your hard work. You were grinding.
This was a lot of hard work. I want to thank Kyle and everyone from the Music Box as well. They've been awesome.
Yeah.
And a quick shout out as well to Marquis. You guys will be able to watch this on Marquis. Some of you are watching this on Marquis right now. Thank you to Andrew and everyone and his team as well. A lot of people, a lot of work behind the scenes to make this happen. And it's really cool, as you mentioned. You know, we do this and we don't see everyone every week. You know, you get the tweets, you see people respond. But to see you guys show up here today, to see everyone in person is so awesome. And it's really cool to do this, and we want to do more of this in the future as well.
I just want to thank people for 90 minutes, so I'm going to thank Big Jim for getting the...
Tell them where this couch is from.
Big
Will
Jim
you tell
with
them?
the Cubs. This may or may not be from the Cubs clubhouse. But them being able to bring furniture, do everything, awesome. Dakota.
Yes.
How was your flight?
First time flying first class. I took courtesy of my boss, Ian Happ, over here.
Driveline didn't help out?
They did not cover the cost of the flight. This is my real boss.
This is actually your off day.
This is my off day from work. I work tomorrow, so right back to Seattle. But first time flying first class.
Window or aisle?
Window, of course.
Same.
Psychos say aisle. Psychos prefer aisle.
Like me.
Yeah.
Like
we
me.
said what we said.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's crazy. I think it's a crazy move. We'll get to Danny Mueller. Danny Mueller's in the crowd. We'll get to Danny Mueller's hot take later.
Was that Danny? Was that Danny cheering for himself?
I still can't believe that you like to sit in the window. It's just so claustrophobic. It makes me sick. How's your Chicago experience been? Your short time here?
I've been here
really a lot of fun.
4
Beautiful
hours,
weather
so
today.
it's been pretty nice. It's
Really?
30 degrees hotter here than it is in Seattle, so
Should have been here 2 days
sweating.
ago. 2 days ago we were playing, and it doesn't usually get like super.
Hey, producer here, talking to the mic, please.
All right, dude. I'm used to having the one that. My bad. Where we're playing, and it usually doesn't get like super humid and hot here in June. Dude, 95, but like the feels like was like 102. It was those days where you're like, should I go out for BP today? And then you walk up the stairs, and you're like, no. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Well,
Go
that ball
nasty.
made it through the humidity yesterday.
That was a nice one. Nice one. Thank you. Yeah. When it get that was a nice fluff.
That's
huh?
how I get the crowd going right
nice,
there.
nice.
Dakota just looked at me and said, that's how I get the crowd going.
Well, when it gets nice and hot like that, and the flags start doing some of this out the center, that's nice.
It doesn't usually blow out in Wrigley.
Not enough. Not as much as you think. I was actually talking to one of the guys from the Giants, and we were talking about, like, because the Giants place, it blows a lot too. And we were talking about Wrigley and how the wind blows. And, like, you come in for a 3-game set like that, and the wind's blowing out for 3 days, you're like, this is the best hitter's park in the league. Like, you get to play here every day and you don't hit 70 homers.
But you told me that it went 440, and in April that's probably caught at the track.
That's the exact definition of, if Nico's coming on later, he would testify? That's not the right word. He would agree. A test. Are you Webster?
I got you. I'm a pretty smart guy. What can I say?
But it was 104. It was just like 104 and a half ish at 28. Yeah. And when the wind's blowing out, it's 440. It's a bomb. When the wind's blowing in, that is a can of poop.
Good thing it was blowing out.
Keeping it PG.
Smart. That a boy.
Yeah, smart. So we're gonna have Ryno on. Well, my bad. Ryno is coming on, but Nico's starting. So I don't want to get you fired up for Ryno. Nico's starting.
Nico's the leadoff hitter. We're putting him in the leadoff spot.
He's leading off. Then Ryno's coming on, and then we're gonna have Jamo and Steele here, and then Danny's hot take. Do you guys have anything else before we get the guests rolling? Anything else you wanna get into?
Appreciate everyone being here.
All right, let's get it rolling. Nick, you're on the couch.
He's back. OG.
It feels like we're back in Arizona.
I think the part you missed about Arizona is we would have the one mic and we'd have to like put a finger up to everyone else, like my turn to talk.
Oh, that's true.
So we didn't interrupt.
That's true. There were a lot of fingers. There was a lot of like. Wait. Nick. What were we going on? I want to talk to you about something specific, but what were we saying backstage for a minute?
Well, I was wondering, Dakota's making the leap into the coaching side of things. He's educating himself, but a lot of people who do that, they can't help but take their new information and apply it to themselves. So I was wondering if he was getting the itch to just chuck baseballs still, and how's that feeling?
I slightly got the itch. I threw 2 times, felt like there was a knife in the back of my shoulder, and I was like, you know what? We're going to call it. Maybe it was a good choice to be done.
Were you just like throwing normal, or were you like trying to do like weighted ball stuff?
I did no build-up program. I hopped right in. I said, let's let it eat. Let's see what's in there. And it didn't feel very good.
Yeah, well, a great coach or trainer is often like they just use themselves as a guinea pig. We have a PT guy with the Cubs, Nate Whitney. Shout out Nate. And he recently hurt his hamstring, and he's just using himself as a test dummy for all the things he's never been able to try on us.
Yeah. And Nico and I have both had a hamstring this year, and we were like, yes, you get to do all of it. It was like all the little things that we have to do every day. It was like, I can't wait to watch you do that. I was thinking about Nate because I was having a conversation with him in the training room just about like playing every day and the difference in the game. We were talking about this. I got bored in the cage. Happens. I was waiting to hit, and we have this like really awesome system where you can look at basically every pitch that you've seen in the big leagues. And I got deep into the defensive side, and I was looking, and I was like, oh, here's like the third base tab. What's that look like? And you can look at every like relay throw or double play turn that you've had. So I'm like clicking on it. I'm like, second base, 2017. And I'm watching these double plays, and like guys aren't running down the line. Like Evan Longoria hits you a ball, it's right at you, it's routine. Like going to turn double play, and like that's really slow, but the dude's halfway down the line. Now like everybody runs full out every play. Do you feel like that trying to turn double plays, that like you rarely get one where the dude's like not hauling down the line?
Yeah, you got to go. And I think part of that is just how measured everything is. Like now with the sprint speed and stuff, like if it's down, people are like, hey, why aren't you running fast?
That's true.
I will say, though, you're going to have Sandberg up here, and what he dealt with double play-wise is completely different. So yeah. I will not be complaining.
I want to talk to him
I've
about
never
it
had spikes on my thighs or anything like that. So
never had someone trying to just tackle you.
You should have asked him that question, because that's one of the biggest changes in baseball, honestly.
I do want to ask about, do you think that like the expectation, and Joe was big on this. Joe Madden was big on like respecting 90 and the difference that it makes if you can beat out that ball with 2 outs. that there is a chance to hit a home run. There is a chance, like, getting guys on base is precious. It's not easy to do. And so there is a chance to, like, score a run off that. But do you think that it impacts, like, your ability, not your ability, but as a baseball player, like, if you give that every single time down the line every day, like, does it make you more susceptible to not being able to play 162?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely players out there that get criticized for not playing that hard, but then they're in there every single day for 10 straight years and are one of the most valuable players, and so it's kind of a double-edged sword, I guess.
We talk about it all the time. It's like you look at a dude like Longoria or like Manny Machado, who, like, sometimes they get criticized for maybe not giving it everything, or just, like, if a guy doesn't run down the line, but, like, Manny Machado plays 162 no matter what. Like, he's in there every single day. And, like, the value of that player over the course of the season being available versus the replacement is, like, massive.
Cubbies have been running.
I actually saw something. I saw something today. 30 bags in June were first in the league. I think we were sixth. We didn't really run a lot in April. I don't know what happened.
Slow track, muddy
yeah.
and cold.
It does. Wrigley gets a little muddy, and when you're wearing 10 layers, hard to get your legs up. But we're first in baseball this month, and it feels like
you don't like taking the field when you feel like the Michelin tire man, and you're just
no. And I refuse to be cold, so I'm wearing the layers. I'm taking on.
Have you ever done the Vaseline on the skin?
No.
For people taking gloves and rubbing it all over Vaseline on the skin to hold heat, and it feels dramatic. Feels more like a football thing, but
sometimes you
haven't seen. Yeah,
Wrigley's that weather. Have you done it?
I've never done it, but I've heard of, like, offensive linemen doing it. Like in football, like, you'll see them with no sleeves and it's snowing, and it's like, what are these people doing? But they got Vaseline all over their body.
As someone who's actually from a cold place, do you think complaining about the cold is just silly?
It's just soft. When people say, like, oh, you should be used to it, like, there's no getting used to it. Like, you're just, this is what it is. Like, you're just like, this is life. I'm used to the snow.
Did you wear sleeves pitching?
I was very superstitious. I would wear sleeves until I did bad, and then the sleeves would come off no matter the weather. And then I'd go to 3/4 sleeves, and then I'd go no undershirt. It was really.
Did you have others? This sounds like this should be a long list of things.
The glove would get thrown away. We'd have different cleats. Compression shorts changed a lot.
Did you ever shower in uniform?
I never went full shower in the uniform. I was like, that's just a little too over the top for me. I never got to that point. Maybe I should have. Maybe I'd still be playing.
You definitely saw me do it in AAA.
Yeah.
Did you go cleats in the shower?
Oh, yeah. Full uni, cleats in the shower.
Full cleanse.
Yeah, full cleanse, and then get rid of all of it.
But you weren't in the best of spots in 2019.
Nope.
But that's where you met us. And
that's where this pod was born.
That's right.
And that's where you really, that's the special things.
That's right.
So you being superstitious is crazy to me. Never thought of that. Was it a superstition when you would have a bad outing and then come in the next day with your headphones on and not talk to anybody?
That didn't happen. That is so made up. It's not completely false, actually. There's a couple times. It depends how bad it was and how many in a row were bad.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come in like the happiest guy in the world. I should be a little upset.
Well, isn't there like a 30-minute rule?
Yeah, I didn't abide by that. I definitely did not abide by
Being
it.
a bullpen guy and having a bad day is a different level.
That's true.
Because you got to go a long, long time of being good to get it right.
Yeah.
And it's a brutal, brutal way to get evaluated.
See, I think we need Nico back. He's a lot nicer than you. He's a lot nicer than you.
We talk about it a lot that bullpen guys and position players, even all pitchers in general, we're just playing a completely different game. We are playing a completely different game. We're on different schedules all day. We're teammates. We like each other. We're all trying to do the same thing. Very, very different game. Just out there holding the ball in control.
It's kind of a miracle we became friends. I basically just annoyed you into friendship.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah. Literally. It worked out.
Sneak, talk to me about when you're in the cage and you're doing your routine. What do you think is like the most valuable part of your routine?
That's a tough question.
We've all prepared for games in such different ways and had results feeling very different ways, and I think the biggest thing to come out of it is just feeling like a good version of myself, because the idea that you're going to actually control what happens when you're out there is not going to happen.
Do you think that changes on like a weekly basis? Is there like monthly or weekly, it all depends on how you're feeling. But like, is there like, all right, like if I have a really good routine off the machine with the softballs, like is that like now I'm dialed, or is there like my flip routine? It's always the same. When I do it this way, like that really makes me feel locked in.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things I like to feel every day is just the angle of whoever we're going to face that day, the pitchers that we're going to face, and as a lefty or a switch hitter, you're switching based on the side of the plate. But I find myself often having to like switch my lines up versus a lefty or a righty, and so I try and get that replicated with the machine and just find that intent off the fastball and work from there.
Yeah, and you do a really good job with that. Of like, I don't think a lot of people, it's like another layer, right? Like a lot of people don't even identify that. Like you wouldn't even think about like, no, the mound is in front of me and I'm just going to hit things coming straight at me. But really it's like you're facing Chris Sale and he's throwing from the dugout. And then you're that dude from the Walker, from the Ryan Walker from the Giants. He's also throwing from the dugout.
So the lefties that throw really far over at Wrigley, Andrew Mueller, when he was with the Cardinals, I faced him. The batter's eye at Wrigley, Wrigley is incredible. We all love Wrigley. The batter's eye at Wrigley is small. And lefties they release outs from like the right center bleachers where everyone's hanging out, shirtless and with white T-shirts on. Yeah. And it's not always the best visual.
Yeah.
But we love it. We're not complaining.
Yeah, we love it. If you're in the center field bleachers, wear blue.
Yep.
Blue. That would help us. And then change to white when we're pitching.
Oh man, can you imagine? We're playing the Braves in the NLCS or something. Chris Sale's pitching, and the whole right center bleachers are just all wearing black T-shirts.
Oh man,
that'd be amazing.
We'd be on a level playing field.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It's something I think about it a lot because, like, I don't do my right-handed flip straight on, because when I hit lefty, I have the flipper more straight, and it's a right-handed flipper. We talked about this. We had a left-handed hitting coach, so left-handed flips versus right-handed flips. But the right-handed flipper is more straight, kind of a pure right-handed angle towards me. But because so many lefties now in the league, and it feels like it, nobody throws over the top, they're all so side that I have to do my flips at that angle to try to recreate it. And like I don't hit a lot of right-handed BP on the field because when I get in there off a right pitcher, it just feels so different than how it actually feels in a game.
Yep. We do, however, have 3 workers in our clubhouse that are all left-handed, and we have no left-handed BP throwers. These are 3 young, able-bodied, handsome guys that would have a job in baseball forever if they learned to throw batting practice, and none of them have taken on my challenge.
Well, you just love to see him out there chucking some weight. Dakota?
Yeah.
Maybe a program.
You want me to get him set up?
I want you to get him set up. I want you to get him on a program. Let's get him weighted balls, whatever we need.
I can get that done.
Okay.
We can get you a lefty.
Yeah. We'll connect him to you. Make sure. Because we don't have a lot of left-handed BP options.
Maybe I'll start training lefty.
It's a fresh arm.
And it could work. Yeah. No innings on it.
How good of a coach are you?
Yeah, how bad do I want it? Nico, can I ask you a way different question now? Scotty Frost sent in a lot of questions.
Yes, of course.
He told me to ask you about your AA living situation.
AA in Tennessee, which is a good affiliate. It's a nice place to play. I was living with Scotty and a couple other guys. We had 4 guys in a 3-bedroom place, which was reasonable. And then we had a 5th, Jesse Hodges, who was a legendary roommate of sorts.
I think we've all lived with Jesse Hodges.
Who lived in the kitchen and soon took it over, and none of us ever stepped foot in it again. But we made some good friendships there. Tyson Miller, who's back with us now and throwing really well. He was one of our roommates there too, and yeah, man, it feels like a long, long time ago, but it's part of why it's so cool to see a guy like Scott, make it to the big leagues and have success. And he was still throwing from up here then and trying to get guys out before he
dropped down sideways.
Did you see Scotty's relief appearance yesterday?
No, it was 6 pitches, right?
6 pitches. Scotty Frost, friend of the pod, 6 pitches yesterday in his first rehab outing.
Yeah, rode back.
1, 2, 3 inning.
But in classic Scotty form, he threw first pitch, error, struck out the next guy in 3 pitches, double play on the next guy, so it's basically a 1, 2, 3 inning, and he's texting us, he's like, I should have threw a slider. I'm so pissed I didn't throw it. Like, he's pissed. I'm like, Scott, you haven't thrown in the game in 2 years. Let's relax.
Yeah. Well, the last time we talked to him, he was giving up bombs to 16-year-olds. So.
Yeah. He did not like throwing in Florida. They swing it and if they
that's the
connect,
classic thing.
far.
Guys go in their rehabs and they're trying to get back to playing at the highest level, and they just get humbled by these young guys are just ready to go.
Yeah.
just
You're throwing 90?
Yeah.
Come here.
Yeah.
I'm swinging it.
yeah.
And throwing strikes. Dakota, did Scott have something else for him? Or was that it?
That was all Scotty had for Nico.
Scott has something for like everybody.
Scott sent me a text for every single guest we were having up, and I was like, all right, I got you. Like, I'll get you in
I picture him, found a nice coffee shop this morning, sat down with a pen and paper, and just wrote down a bunch of questions.
But do you think Zach sent a single question?
No, he just sent a bad bat.
He did not. But tell the people what bat you got.
Although, so like the people collect things throughout their career, and I decided to do bats of former teammates that I enjoyed playing with, and believe it or not, I enjoyed playing with Zach. And when the Braves came to town, I asked our club, I asked Zach for a signed bat. He sent over a nice fresh bat with a primed pen. You can tell when the pen is like really ready to go on the bat.
He took that pen.
Personal note with a signature.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It'll be up on a wall in my place eventually. But it looked a little different than the ones you guys got.
Yeah. The bat got to the clubhouse. He forgot and then had to overnight it, I'm pretty sure. And then the bat got to the clubhouse and I pulled it out yesterday. Showed it to Nico. I was like, what? What is this?
For a guy that's so detail-oriented and everything, you'd think that he would want to go to the plate with something a little more professional.
I'm thinking he must have had a bad round in the cage and been like, I'm done with it.
This bat
100%
sick of it. Yeah. I wanted to ask you one other thing about Nate that I can't remember anymore, which is frustrating me. But I do want to ask about our double play turns together.
Yep.
After watching them. You remembered the one that we had up the middle.
Yeah.
But we found one. I found one where I was playing first base.
God.
Yeah, so I got called up in 2019, and Ian was playing every position except catcher and pitcher, it seemed like. And
Yep. No, it wouldn't let me play shortstop either.
Yeah, sorry.
Bad hands.
We turned it all play in San Diego, where I was playing short and he was playing second. That's a fun one from the archives. And Ian was playing some first too when Riz's ankle.
Yeah, when he blew up his ankle.
Yeah, it looked like a thigh. And yeah.
Yeah, we found a video of I was playing first, threw a ball to Nico. He turned it, threw it back to me, and I was like, we did that?
Yeah. You guys watch Ian play left field now, 2-time Gold Glover, and
Yeah.
Okay.
and it's cool to see someone find a home, but there's a lot of plays that show up where you throw like an infielder,
Yeah.
and a lot of people aren't able to make those throws as outfielders. Even if they might be throwing the ball harder, you're more accurate and quicker with it, and it's cool how those skills translate.
Yeah, there's just a lot of things that I learned being an infielder. And then Ben Zobrist actually was like such a huge influence on me coming up and playing both spots in and out. But when Ben would talk to me about like being an athlete and just making the right play, being accurate, making the right play, not trying to be a hero, it was something that I had to learn after like bouncing in and out. But like all of those skills really do translate. If there's a ball down the line, getting rid of it, a backhand, like one hop throws is a big thing, like not airing it out. And that was something I was good at kind of those little things and really bad at like the simple outfield things of like field it with one hand, take a crow hop and throw it without like hitting the backstop. Like those were things where like I would come up and I would just like zzz, and to be able to actually like learn that stuff, that was the stuff that I had to learn. But the instinct infield stuff. Really
I'm sure the middle infielder enjoys that you learn those instincts too, versus like letting it eat. Like you actually hit your.
Although I do have one thing on letting it eat. So Ian had a new PR this year for velo on the field. What was it?
92.8.
92.8 from left field. So Dakota, you're in the.
I was like, that's it.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say you're in the field of you're in the field of velocity now. Fair to say, right?
Yes.
Do you think he has more in the tank, or is that Ian maxing out his ability at 92.8?
I'm gonna be honest. I hope it's not maxing out. I can get you on a program.
Listen.
And we can increase that number.
I can go find the video for you. That is a full janitor throw. Like, I threw it, I tumbled, because that's all that's in my body.
I need this off-season 3-ounce pull-downs, Dakota and Ian. The content would be incredible.
Yeah.
So basically, I don't know if this is relevant anymore, but a phase when people were throwing 3-ounce baseballs instead of 5, super light, as hard as they can. Some guys are throwing like 110 miles an hour, running in a cage and just letting it rip. And I just think that'd be an amazing sight to see, as long as your arm was still attached.
I was going to say, the only thing I'll say is you've had an elbow injury. Let's not, you know, that's the last thing we need.
It would be like Mr. Potato Head, and my arm would just go. That was also those videos. There would be at least like 1, maybe 10 people just screaming at that person.
Shirtless.
So that would be
with smelling salts.
So I think that's what we could do.
That would be me.
Yeah, we could do like, and then you're like, ah, and then I'll just throw it.
I'm the one taking the smelling salts, or you're taking?
I'm doing that.
Okay.
And you're yelling.
Is my shirt on or off?
Off.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. I think that sounds like the perfect off-season program for us.
Come on out to Drive One.
Okay. Yeah.
No, don't tease me.
Do you want to tell this? Do you want to tell the story?
We've done this already. Don't tease me.
Do you want to tell the story?
All right. So I reached out to Ian, our director of hitting at Driveline, said, hey, Ian has not had the best of starts to the season. We think we can help him. And I said, perfect. I'm actually pretty good buddies with him. Let me reach out. And I said to Ian, I said, no pressure. You can say no. I won't. My feelings won't be hurt. It'll be fine. You said, sure, give them my number. Like, I'll hear what they have to say. They put together a nice slide deck for you of saying, like, all these, I don't know, all these advanced stats, I don't know, all these fancy things. They proceeded to text Ian. He did not respond.
I don't think you're doing the timeline.
That's exactly what happened. But then, so he didn't respond, so now our director of hitting sends me just Ian's box score if ever it's an offer. But he did text me yesterday and say, this guy might rake, and I said, he sure does.
Not the exact story.
That's exactly what happened. Tell me your story.
You said, hey, our director of hitting has some stuff for you. Do you want to see it? And I said, well, can he send me like an email with a slide deck? And you're like, he wants to talk to you. He wants to like talk you through it. I'm like, if what he sends me I don't hate, maybe we can talk. And then you were like, well, he really wants to like talk to you and present the things because this is how Driveline does it. And I was like, you know what? All right, give him my number. Like, if he puts it together, maybe. And then I started to kind of hit the ball hard, and I was like, I don't think I want to talk to that guy.
You embellished your side of that story a lot. There was not as much resistance on your end.
Well, sometimes when you're hitting 210 and it's really you're underwater.
I will say when I asked you, it was not the best of times for you.
It was the worst.
And then you like hit 4 homers in 7 games, and I was like, I don't think he's going to answer you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to text him back, man.
But now we'll get you on the throwing side instead.
Okay.
Perfect.
And that's your department, and that's the department I care
I'll
about.
be your trainer.
Yep. Okay.
My fee is $100,000 a year.
Perfect.
Would you need a slide deck from him, or would you take the conversation from Dakota?
Slide deck first, and then we'll talk.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Yeah. Sneak, thanks for coming on. That was awesome. We will take a short break.
Bottom of the 9th. 2 outs. Bases full. Down 3. The crowd on their feet. The drama of baseball is real. And so is all the action on the DraftKings Sportsbook. From the first pitch to the final out, DraftKings has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boost, and so much more. And if you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code COMPOUND. New customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's code COMPOUND only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or in West Virginia, visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.co/baseball for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
over there. Rhino.
Hey, nice to be here. What a crowd.
What? Yeah. Rhino, you know what I did today?
What's that?
I played a little golf at Shore Acres today.
Well, I know. I was well aware of that. I was out there last week. And you were coming out because I was out there 2 days ago.
Oh, awesome.
But I'm just past the clubhouse there, about 500
you're
yards.
You're right there, huh?
So, yeah, we live right there. So that's that's part of the driveway coming in every day. So
It's what beautiful place. And
Well,
the weather today was amazing.
How'd you do, by the way?
Rhino,
Ask him about his putting.
I shot 77. I had 38 putts.
Yeah, they run pretty good. It's
Yeah.
dry. It's dry and it's legit, no doubt about it. But let's see, 2 weeks. Well, last week was my second round of 18 holes with things going on.
Yeah.
But I shot a little 74 that day. Yeah.
Oh my
That's my
God.
home course.
Yeah.
Home course.
Your game's in good shape.
So one question I have is, let's see, number 3, number 2 and 3 are drivable.
Yeah.
How'd you do there?
I think I hit 2-iron on both. I just played it safe.
Okay.
I hit 2-iron on
yeah,
both.
I'm driver there, and I'm flirting with the fringe and up to roll them on there. So, but I'm feeling pretty good about the course there, by the way.
Yeah. I'm a little scared of the fescue and the trees. I'm like trying to just keep it in play.
I hear you. But you know what? Most of my off days were spent on the golf course.
Really?
Yeah, even on road trips. Usually had a couple of foursomes on the road trips. We go out there and have our bags along with us. But for me, it was a nice getaway.
Yeah.
It's still hitting a ball oriented, which you know what, if anything was going on at the plate, which it wasn't happening too often. Just kidding.
No, it wasn't.
Just kidding. Slumps every year. Baseball is one of the toughest sports to play, but if there was anything that would fix it, it'd be on the golf course. You know, the ball is still a small ball. It's a getaway, free mind. You use your waist area very much so, and everything, and head on the ball and some focus, different focus. But being out there myself with a couple of foursomes was always a treat for me. But I'll never forget middle of '84. Had a chance. You guys remember the '84 season at all there? I think it was. It might have been even like late May '84. A day off in San Francisco. We landed and went right to the hotel. But we got up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we were the first off at. Got up at 6 o'clock in the morning. We were the first off at Pebble Beach.
Wow.
And then followed with a Spyglass at 1:30 in the afternoon.
That's a heck of an off day.
And then back at the hotel and had dinner and woke up the next day and was playing the Giants. And probably did pretty well that series after the round of golf like that.
Yeah, that's basically a perfect
You find
day.
it the same way? Very similar sports?
I've always, because I've played them both my whole life, but people ask all the time, like, does your golf swing mess up your baseball swing? Like, no, they're very similar moves.
Very similar.
They're very similar moves, and like sometimes, like when I'm coming out of my posture in my baseball swing and I'm rolling stuff over, staying down on the golf ball is really good.
Yeah, and for me, if I was a little bit tired at that day in the box, which it would happen with some certain things, but my quick thinking was, okay, I'm floating forward too much today. Jumping at the baseball a little bit, and I'd catch myself within a couple at bats. You don't want to jump at the baseball and have everything come forward. Now in golf, you kind of glide forward, but the head kind of stays there on the same plane, so that always fixed that problem for me. And so
was that your biggest thing hitting? Was that your biggest, like, gliding forward was the thing that you struggled with?
Jumping at the baseball, just a little bit anxious, and I'd catch myself quick, but yeah. When I get too much on the front foot and jumping at the ball, that's when I get back, stay back, let the ball come to me, and just use my hands.
Yeah, you told me a couple years ago I was having a tough April, and I thought about it this year. I thought about you because I was having a tough April a couple years back, and you were downstairs in the cage, and you told me, you were like, hey man, it's really hard here in April. Like, wind blows in, it's tough. Like, I've had my shares of really bad Aprils. Like, stay with it. And that resonated with me. It got me through that season. And this year I was bad April. Bad Rhino. Well, and I was thinking about what you said, and I was thinking about, like, hey, just stay in it. It's a long season.
Well, you know why I told you that? I was a 238 lifetime April hitter.
That's what you told me.
Now, here's the reason. Coming from spring training in short sleeves and 85 degrees for 2 months, and then through the 80s and 90s, they kept the Wrigley Field grass about 5 inches long in April. You couldn't shoot a cannon ground ball through the infield and get a base hit. And now you got the wind blowing off of the lake in your eyes are watering. The new technology of clothing we did not have.
Yeah.
I had long underwear, the old-fashioned long underwear. You know, we're talking early 80s, mid 80s here, and then through the 90s, pants and bottom long underwear. I couldn't even move, and here I'm trying to game a baseball and trying to hit a baseball. You know what I did? I had a lot of foul balls.
Try to walk?
Just missing. I'd take a walk if they give it to me,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know what? I just learned my lesson. Somewhere along the line, it must have been too late if I was 238 lifetime hitter, but somewhere along the line, I just tried to shorten up and just take what they gave me at Wrigley Field. And if it was a base hit with a man on second, the opposite field, I'd take that in a second. And you know, I'd get on the road and play on some AstroTurf, and things would even out a little bit. And my best start was in '84, which just happened. You know, we're talking the 1st of April in 1984. So we start off my first time in my career on the West Coast. Now, the West Coast, back in those days, you'd go to LA, San Francisco, and San Diego. It was 9 or 10 games. We started the whole season like that. My best April was 275. It was that year and that April.
Yeah.
Because of the warm weather, going from warm to warm, and now by the time we got to Wrigley, it was like the 3rd week of April. Now I had a chance. So that
It was 45 instead of 35.
and it happened to be the first. 45? I wish. I mean, I played so many April games in sleet and snow at Wrigley Field, and the wind that's at the middle infield, how it hits on your neck up here, and you're cold. We had this one blower heater in the dugout, nothing like today. All the guys not playing the game, they're sweating over there, and the crowd's there, and it could be 20 degrees. You know, I know how that is. But no coincidence that hot start like that was the team that we went to the playoffs and the MVP year at 24 years old. But it was about that start as well.
Yeah.
And what a team we had.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you may have started cold in April, but you must have finished the season pretty strong if they're building a statue after you, right?
Well, thank you. Well, in May, I was a 350 hitter. So by the end of May and 1st of June, everything was back to normal, and then it was hot the rest of the... I have loving grandkids I lie to all the time. You know, I tell them whatever they want to hear, but not really. But May 1st through May, I'd be hitting where I wanted to be, at a comfort zone, and doing what I wanted to do at the end of May. By that, with that slow start, and then June, July, and August, it was, you know... Now it's just see the ball and hit it and not miss my pitch, and the cat and mouse game with the pitcher and things like that. It was, nothing better than hitting at Wrigley Field, though. Wrigley Field always solved a lot of problems for me. I loved, first of all, the atmosphere.
Yeah. The people.
Was unbelievable. The fans would come out. The fans would come out and be there. That was a guarantee. That meant something to me, but primarily day baseball, I could really see the ball well, and that solved a lot of problems as well.
Can you, I mean, Ryne, unbelievable career, and you played here for so long, but Sunday the statue's going to be unveiled, the ceremony. Just what's that, like, for someone who's, by the end of my contract, you know, this is my 8th, I'll have 10 seasons here. It's been such a special experience, the people, the atmosphere every day, but your whole career being here, and like, what does that mean to have a statue, to be there forever? Like, that's really cool.
First of all, the years have added up now. Since my rookie season, it's 42 years.
Yeah.
And I left to manage the Phillies. I left to manage the Phillies for a minor league season, and then 2.5 years to have that opportunity to manage. It wasn't going to happen here. And then right back here let's see, came back in July of 2015, just in time for the
Just in time,
postseason in
yeah.
15, and just in time for was hired on and as an ambassador in the 16 season, outstanding, and the years after that. So, we're talking 39 years with the Cubs, and so the statue for me. What a great honor by the Cubs, and I'm joining 4 other players that were part of my career, knew all of them very well, and along with Harry Carey as well. So there's 5 statues, 4 players. I'll be the 5th one, and to know that those players, I knew them very well. So to just have this happen, I think tremendous gift for the fans by the Chicago Cubs,
Yeah.
and to have that statue a part of Wrigley Field. And what that means to all the baseball fans and the Cub fans that want to go to Wrigley Field, something new to look at. But for what it means to my family, myself, my family, 11 grandkids, and really all you fans, it's a gift for you guys as well, no doubt.
I just want you to know that for us, like taking the field every day, like the history of Wrigley Field, the really cool part is that the guys that played there before you, the guys that wore the uniform before you and Billy and everybody that stepped on that field before us, like that's what makes playing for an organization that is 100 and, I don't want to mess it up, but 130 years old. Like that's what makes it so cool. And they have the trophy case down by our weight room. And it'll have old jerseys in it. So like Aramis just got into the Cubs Hall of Fame, so his stuff's down there. A couple of your jerseys are down there.
Yeah.
And like I always say they should bring back, and I call it the Sandberg jersey, like the pinstripe with the collar and the blue belt.
Oh, so awesome. Pullover jerseys.
Yeah, I want that one back.
Well, it's retro. It's very retro
Yeah.
now, but that's what we wore. Yeah, the pullover jersey and the elastic band.
Yeah.
It's so cool, huh?
I want that one.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
We'll
All
throw
right.
back that.
I'll see what I can do.
Nico, we just had Nico on.
Yeah.
And he was asking, so we were talking about double plays, and I was saying, when I was playing the infield, there was guys, and you knew the guys that would run hard down the line, but you knew there was 3 or 4 guys in the middle of that lineup who weren't going to get down the line, and it was an easy double play turn. The guy from first might be coming at you hard, but it was an easy double play turn. And Nico goes, well, ask Rhino about what he dealt with, because
yeah.
guys were coming in trying to tackle you at second base.
True. Let me tell you, not only did us infielders communicate who the batter was, but we communicated more who was on first base. Because there was the guys that had a knack from getting really good jumps, have pretty good speed, but they were very, very aggressive type of base runner. But the whole game was like that. But the object of the game during my whole career, if you're on first base, both teams would know this, it was his job to do whatever he could to break up the double play. And there was no rules about second base or sliding straight in. Guys could slide way out here, they could slide over here, they could slide late and come up, all these things. So I got flipped twice in 17 years. Now, reason being, it happened once and twice. I said, that's not going to happen anymore. And so with the shortstop, I had a knack of having I had a lot of different options. I could come across this way, I could stay here, I could go back this way, and I'd mix it up and change it up according to what the timing of the play was to the shortstop or the third baseman.
Yeah.
And so having an anticipation where he was, but playing second base, the runner there coming at you as a second baseman, it's a blind spot. The shortstop has the play in front and has the runner in front of him. Depending on who was over there, many a times with Larry Bow or Sean Dunston or Ron Say or the third baseman's, hey guys, take a look over here, give me the baseball. Make sure you get it. If it's hit at you, give it to me quick. Now, one thing, if I had the baseball, I could come down from underneath here and make them slide about halfway, and that's how you would defend yourself. But many a times I'd have spike marks up and down my legs after games, and I had stitches on my knee once, but only went on the DL twice. I played
I wanted to ask you about
that was
that.
nothing. That was nothing.
I was looking at it. Your baseball reference is very impressive. The page is impressive. But to me, you stole a lot of bags. I didn't know how many bags you stole. You took a lot of bags.
Well, first of all, I was a number 2 hitter, and that's where I started off, and I was very comfortable there. You know what? I was a fastball hitter. You could probably relate to that. Every major league hitter is a fastball hitter. They can react to the breaking stuff. And so a fastball hitter. So my agenda was to have the guy get on ahead of me, have him be a base stealer and a threat, and he'd always act like he was going. Now the pitcher's going to feed fastball so he doesn't steal second. Well, I'm hitting and he's running. So if he's running and it's a bad pitch, I'm taking it. It's a stolen base opportunity.
Yeah.
If it's something right there that I can handle, he's running. I'll hit the ball in the gap if I like it and do first and third or score him from first. And so it was like cat and mouse game, but I use that to my advantage. But I was a very fast runner throughout my career, and I was like a 3.8, 3.9 to first base. So base stealing. I established that early that I was going to be a base stealer. I wanted to score. I had 2 goals. I had 2 goals starting every season, batting second. I wanted to hit 300, and I wanted to score 100 runs.
How many times do you do that in the same season?
Quite a few. But I had some where I drove in 100 and scored 100. But that's what, as I matured and got through things, I started to add the home runs and the 25 and the 30 and the 40 homers, but still batted second.
Yeah.
So I was doing damage in the second spot, and but I had hitters behind me. I mean, Happer, I saw you in the minor leagues when I did my things down there, and I saw Happer here as a minor leaguer. I saw the first big league camp when he's making the team, has a chance to make the team. Now to see you for the 10 years, very proud of you, man.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
But anyway, so those were my simple goals. So, I averaged 158 games played. So, if I was hitting close to 300, I'd be scoring my 100 runs.
Well,
I'd steal the bases. I think the most bases I stole in a year was, you know what? I don't even remember, but it was in the high 50s.
I think it was 59.
50. I lost
50,
track.
54.
54.
54.
Yeah,
344 career stolen bases.
Well, I shot for 35 or better, but then to steal bases and all that, and then to play second base, those are pretty active, very active spots. But you know what? That was what it was all about.
Yeah, and the fact that you played every day, like I was looking at it, you played every day. You played over 150 games, almost every single year of your career. Maybe one season that you didn't. It's like that is a testament, and what that does for a team, just being out there every day, your Hall of Famer, being out there on the field every single day, means so much to the team. It's just like a prime example of what like a leader, a Hall of Famer does on a daily basis.
Well, I appreciate that. Now, let me tell you what, in the minor leagues, so I'm talking, I went to Helena, Montana, 1978.
Helena,
Montana.
Yeah.
I actually turned down, I was an All-American quarterback, 77, 78, so I turned down the college
good choice.
Play football to play baseball. It's a good choice. But, we had 3 extra players back then. They only carried so many players. So if you were assigned to that team as a regular player, you were a regular player. So I was a shortstop. And I played every day in the minor leagues for 4 years because there was no other options. Mm-hmm. Number one. Number two, I didn't want anybody else out there. I wanted to be a big leaguer. I wanted to be a major league guy. Now I get to the major leagues, and I'm a rookie. I want to play. I'm groomed to play every single day, and I did. So that was 17 years of wanting to play every day. Mm-hmm. And it was just that was what I wanted. If things weren't going so well, a little slump of some sort, I just couldn't wait for the next game the next day. I'm going to get hot. Now playing every single day and staying hot. Now is get hot, stay hot. And for me, that was, and then what was a byproduct of that was player of the weeks, player of the months, 10 straight all-star games. And you do all these things when you play every day. And for me, then that's how it was.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
That's kind of the expectation.
And expectations. So my first year at second base, which my second year, won my first Gold Glove. Now, for me, that was a standard for me personally to work so hard more on defense. I wanted to be a Gold Glover. Now I'm doing the job defensively for the team. And then in '84, the Silver Bat and the MVP and the Gold Glove in my first All-Star game. And the most important thing is we won as a team. We went to playoffs for the first time in 45 years.
Yeah.
Most important thing.
Most important thing. Yeah.
So with all that combined, that was my new goals of going to the postseason, get to a World Series was number one goal. But after that year was get to the postseason every single year was a goal of mine, and to get to a World Series every year.
Yeah.
Now these other things would just happen because I play every day, but those standards that I would live up to, those were standards I set on myself. The fans started to get used to it, so now they were expecting that. So it all worked for me. That all worked for me. So you know what? It was nothing better than putting on the Cubs uniform every day and reporting to Wrigley Field as a home ballpark and the best fans in baseball.
Best fans in
No doubt
baseball and the
about
most
it.
special
You've
place.
experienced that, yeah.
Thank you, Rhino. Congratulations on the statue. We can't wait for Sunday, and thank you so much for being
Appreciate
here.
that. Thank you, Happer.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, man. Appreciate it. You got it. You got it. Hey, you got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Rustin, Steele, and Jameson Taillon.
How we doing? How we doing?
No, you sit over there. Oh. No, you sit here. You sit here. No, you sit here. That's my bad.
Why you gotta yell at me?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Come on. I felt like I hadn't yelled at you enough today.
That's all you do
Fellas.
is yell at me.
How we doing?
J-Mo,
Yes.
like that jacket.
Thank you.
That's a nice piece.
Burgundy.
So, I thought we would have this segment, and I would just call it Pitcher's Corner, and just let you guys go talk. Dakota works at Driveline. Dakota, we pitch together, or we play together in the minor leagues. Steele and Dakota play together in the Cubs system. Dakota is now at Driveline. We got some guys who love pitch metrics. We just like get fired up about it. Just like we got it on the board now at Wrigley, so it's like comes up and it's like 20 vert. And it's like, oh, 20 vert.
I don't know if I'd put Steele in like the loves metrics.
No, this
section.
guy's
I like to know where it's at.
guy's
I like to
getting
see
into
where
it.
I'm at, just so I know what the hitter's seeing, kind
Yeah.
of deal, and then I kind of pitch off of that. But I'm not like, looking at it, loving it. Or
But I've told the story to numerous people. If I've asked you before, I'm like, do you throw a four-seamer or a two-seamer? You're like, I just grip it and I rip that thing. And sometimes it two-seams, sometimes it cuts. Like, you never really
you
know.
got to throw a competitive heater. You just got to, grip
Just
and rip
attack.
it, let it ride.
Yeah. That's right.
Mississippi fastball.
J-Mo, I would like to have this conversation here in front of people. We're in the dugout, and I'm talking to J-Mo about Ben Brown, our friend Ben Brown, who we all love.
Beauty. Absolute beauty.
He's like Ben Brown throws this curveball, and it's zero vertical break and zero horizontal break. It's called a death ball. Guy, we can't be naming pitches death balls. It's hard enough up there. I can't be hitting the eliminator and the death ball. No more pitches.
Between you and me, I probably shouldn't have said that to a hitter, but I think that was a term that got popular in the playoffs last year. There's some guys throwing some of those tight breaking balls where you're like, it doesn't look like that nasty, but it just gets great results, and now you kind of know why, and it is called a death ball.
And do you think that like that plays so well because it's short off the heater? Like, do those numbers play well because the fastball is so true, and even though the break isn't a ton, it tunnels off that really well?
I think that's a big part of it. And back to the name death ball, like hitters are welcome to name stuff whatever they want. Like you can name your homer the other day something. Like, that was pretty sweet.
Start calling those. Well, that's what you guys start naming pitches. Guys start bat flipping. It's like, is that what we want? Really, what we want to see?
Not me.
What do you like when you're doing your pitch mix? When you're looking at how your pitches play off each other, game planning, like. Is that something is it individual pitch metrics or is it how they work off each other? Like Steele, your cut fastball the slider plays off that. Like, that's a huge part of your success.
Yeah, for me, like when I'm doing bullpen work and we have like the Rapsodo, all the metrics right behind me and stuff, like I'll be throwing my four seam in, I'll kind of see like how much glove side I'm getting on it, and then when I'm throwing my slider off of it, location for me one is most important, and then I like to look at the metrics, see what it's doing that day, start tinkering with my grip a little bit to see, like create more movement, more depth on it, and different things. But I mean, dude, having that stuff like right behind you while you're working, it's really advanced the game in a big way.
Yeah, I hate it.
Sell me a ton.
Steely, let me ask you, how was it, and this is a tough question.
Yeah.
How was it getting injured opening day? Like, congrats, getting the opening day start, like that's awesome. What is it like, yeah.
Thank y'all. Thank you.
Like, how tough is that, like, highest of highs to not like the lowest lows, but knowing like you're going to be on the shelf for a little bit? Like, what's the mindset there?
I mean, the mindset immediately for me was like, I just need to get back into the games as soon as possible, just because like you work all off season for that moment, and then it happens, and then like first game you get injured. Like, I remember being in the training room afterwards, I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I literally got to get back into games as soon as possible. So like we kind of expedited the process. Like, I was throwing like literally the next day, I kept my arm moving through the process and whatnot, and then it was all about just getting my legs back to where I could like feel good sprinting and whatnot. So it was a pretty quick process.
But it was crazy because I had just done a hamstring in spring training, and like I wasn't a dead person, but like I wasn't moving that well, and like I think something I don't know, it hurt to do, and they're like, yeah, well, Steele can't like run, but he can get here. So we think he can still throw.
It was a good thing that it was my back leg and I wasn't like actively going over it.
They were like,
every
if
pitch.
somebody bunts, we're screwed. But he
Yeah.
can throw.
When I was coming back, I was literally telling the infielders, I was like, guys, keep me on the dirt. Like, do not let me leave that mound. Like, I might act like I want it. I need you to get it.
J-Mo, I wanted pitcher's corner. We're just going to talk pitching for 30 minutes. Ridiculous.
We talk hitting all the time. That's all we do.
That's because our other co-host is a hitter, which is nice. True. We don't talk about pitching. But J-Mo, when you were younger, we talked about this before, you were big into the weighted balls, and you were like early into that. Like, you're in high school, you're a very big person, you're throwing weighted balls, you're throwing 97, and then like when you get to pro ball, you get an organization, like things change a little bit. Can you talk about that and like that experience?
Yeah, I mean, I got drafted in 2010, and I feel like since I got drafted, like so much has changed in player development. And back when I got drafted, I don't think it was just a Pittsburgh Pirates thing. I think it was kind of all around baseball, like just kind of that more old school, like throwing weighted balls and doing certain drills was kind of looked at as being very progressive, and driveline was not accepted for a long time. It was looked at as super weird. So yeah, I mean,
you're crazy.
Yeah, I came into pro ball long tossing and doing all these drills, and then I got to pro ball, and they're like, no, we picked you, second overall, but we're gonna change everything you do.
Oops, second overall. Oops.
We want you to.
Makes sense.
My velo seriously went from 97 as an 18-year-old to like 92 immediately, and I wasn't able to do some of those things. And now it's cool to see it, kind of, it's not like a one-size-fits-all approach in development, especially for pitchers, and I think that's why pitching has progressed so much. It's like, I do different drills than Steely. We're different people, but if, we were playing together 10 years ago, they would have us doing all the same stuff. Yeah. Weight room, drills, off the mound. Now it's like very just customized to who you are.
And how long in your career did it take you to, like, because at some point you got back to that. At some point you were like, hey, this is what makes me good. Like, this is something I really have to do.
I had a second Tommy John surgery in 2019, and for me that was kind of like almost a little bit of a wake-up call. It was like, what I'm doing isn't working, and it's getting me hurt, and I'm useless if I'm hurt. So yeah, I just dove all the way back into it in order to try to just stay on the field, really. It's like doing weighted balls isn't all about velocity. A lot of it's about like optimizing your movement patterns and putting yourself in a healthy position.
Dakota,
I think that's the biggest.
Dude, you should put that on a T-shirt.
That is so well put, because that's the
Optimizing
biggest
movement patterns.
misconception is that it's like, oh, I have to throw a max effort and like this is how I'm going to gain velo, and it's like, no, like this is how we teach you to get into these positions we're looking for.
I like that.
It is about movement patterns. Like, it's not. I think when you see the videos that get online, like we talked about with the people screaming and the light balls and the weight, and like I'm gonna throw 110. Like when these guys do it. And like, J-Mo, you have an unbelievable routine where every day you do your stuff, you go through your patterns, because you you've had injuries and you really want to be healthy. Like, it's super important to you. And so, like, it's about the way that your arm moves and finding that arm stroke and making sure it's consistent, because when you're doing it at max effort in a game, if something's off, like, very bad things happen.
You nailed it.
Thanks.
You talked.
I'm a pitching guy. I'm a pitching guy. Is Driveline looking for help?
Yeah, we can get you an internship.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I'll teach you.
I think Happ could get something there.
Yeah.
Well, he was talking earlier to Nico about coming to Driveline to learn how to throw harder. He said he PR'd it like 92.8 from the outfield. I go, that's it, 92.8.
Dude,
it's not terrible, but
You throw guys out, so.
Thank you. Thank you.
He's accurate. He's very accurate.
I'm accurate. That is important. I was saying we had. It was like Nico was he was trying to fluff me up. He was like, "Hey, guy, PR from the outfield," and I was like, "Yeah, 92.8." And Dakota was like,
But that's on like a full shuffle pull down, and I'm like, I mean,
Oddly
there's a little
enough,
more in
I
there.
throw harder off the mound than I do like crow hopping. Like I've literally like tried to crow hop and throw into a net. It's always like 90.
"Me too."
Like I don't know what it is.
I mean, in the game, you're not crow hopping, so I'd say that's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't need to.
Jameson, I do have a Scotty F. Frost question. I have 2 questions from Scotty F. Frost. I'm scared. The second one you should be scared of. The first one, he said he wanted to know which one of you or Ian, makes a better pour over. Couple of coffee guys.
Can I jump in?
Yeah?
J-Mo.
All right. Fair enough.
Like J-Mo really hasn't seen my pour over, because I'm an at-home pour over guy. J-Mo in the clubhouse, the locker next to him it's a coffee locker. It might be my favorite thing I've ever seen in the big league clubhouse.
And it just happened organically. Like it just happened. It just like popped up coffee shop in the locker room.
Does he charge, or is it free?
No.
I like to
He's
send.
not Jimmy Butler. He's free 99.
Yeah, Steele's my only customer that's ever given me money.
Yeah, like I'll be on my way to the field sometimes, and he'll just get an Apple Pay for like $2 from me, and be like, "Hey, can I have a coffee in my locker? Like I'm dragging right now."
Dude, when we got home from Tampa, so we were just in Tampa. Good scheduling. Thursday night game in Tampa. Friday day game in Chicago. And J-Mo was like, "I'm gonna be heavy tomorrow on the." He's like, it was like in the locker. It was like 10 a.m. like bang, and then it was like 11 bang. It was like, I needed that.
I had just pitched too, so I wasn't going to play for a couple days. I was like, my biggest way I can help the team today is caffeinating them. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
And you did.
He did.
You did.
He did.
The second part of the question has nothing to do with the coffee part. Scott is very upset he was not invited to your wedding. He said he thought you guys had a real bond, and he felt a little hurt.
I love Scotty. I only played with the guy for a couple months. My wife.
That's all it takes.
My wife had never met him.
We knew him.
You know what though? We did a destination wedding. You got to cut it somewhere. Scotty didn't make the list. If we had more room, Scotty would have been very high on the list.
He talks very highly of you for only knowing you for a couple months today. He talked like you guys were best friends.
I'd say me and Scotty had a night together. He got traded over. We're in Boston, and we had an off day, and I was playing video games all day, and I was like, I need to get out. I need to go for a walk, maybe find a drink. I texted Scott, had never really interacted with him. Like, we just got him. And I was like, do you want to go for a walk and, like, find a drink? We ended up going out till, like, 1 or 2 in the morning, having drinks together, sharing our life stories, getting to know each other, and, like, ever since then, we got tight.
Is there anything like a good mandate in the big leagues?
There's nothing better. I love it.
Give me a night where it's like, hey man, do you just want to go walk around and like find a place? Like, yes. Do you want to go get a coffee this morning? Like, yes.
Yep.
I'm going to be honest, Ian, I don't see you doing that very often.
That's
Me and Ian went on a mandate this past week.
Does he?
We did.
All right. All right.
And it was great.
Nice.
I'm a big mandate guy. I just said how much I like it. What do you mean?
Me and Happer went and golfed as well. Not too long
Yeah, we
ago.
did.
Went
We golfed on the off day. We had a great day. And then we got dinner with Scotty Frost.
I do have an issue with you golfing with Steele because that's golfing with the competition. Guy starts his own podcast. I don't know where you get off thinking you can compete with us.
Well, man, I didn't get an invitation here to be a co-host or anything, so I was like, I might as well just start my own.
We've had you on like 5 times. Though.
Yeah, no, it's been great every time.
Frequent guest. Well, you know what happened was he came on the compound and he was like, I love this so much. I want to do it myself.
Exactly. I enjoyed it too much.
Yeah.
That's fair. Do you like it so far?
Oh, dude, I love it. I like actually enjoy it. We have the Chicago office here, so like me going in, like having my own studio and stuff, like it's like very enjoyable to like just
How
sit there.
sick is that office?
Oh,
Barstool
dude,
offices.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like it's really cool.
You get shots up in there, huh?
Do I?
Get shots up.
Yeah, I do. I actually go in there and shoot. Like before I record or anything, I'll get some free throws. Got to knock down some free throws before I get back to the 3-point line, and then I'll just start draining them. People are impressed.
The people love it.
They love it.
Dakota, do you ever shoot the basketball anymore? Get under the rim?
Play once a week.
You're into
Go out
it.
there and get buckets.
What shoot? Do you shoot?
I sit in the corner
You
and
just kind of
shoot
hang
threes.
out
Sit
there,
in the
which
corner
is
and
crazy.
shoot
Like it's a
Which is
bananas
great.
move.
You got to be in the paint.
I don't have any moves down there. I prefer just to shoot. And you can't get hurt out there. You know, you just light it up from 3, play a little lazy defense, and just have fun.
Yeah, that's good, man.
But the thing is, if I go into the paint, all my coworkers are like Ian's height, and I just kind of reach over them and grab the ball. No offense, no offense, no offense. I meant that more as I'm tall, not that you're short.
We were doing the meet and greet before this, and like, I haven't gotten a lot of like, you're smaller than I thought you would be. Like, Dakota's standing right next to me, and people are like, you're pretty small. Like, oh, you didn't have to say that. What else you got about pitching? Give me something else about pitching.
Any more Scotty F. Frost questions? Did he have anything else?
Those were the 2 he had for JMO. I feel like he didn't give me anything for you.
It was
That's
so
a bad
good.
friend.
It
He
was
gave
so-
one for Nico too. That is a bad friend.
That's a bad friend.
It was really good getting dinner with him when we were there.
Down in Tampa?
Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
good seeing him. It'd been a long time.
You know what's going to be really annoying though is like this episode's going to come out and Scott's going to listen to it and he's going to be like, I got so much chop on the pod. He's going to be like so
Yeah.
fired up.
He did say to me, he goes, it's going to be like, you guys are going to talk about me a lot. And I was like, I don't like how big your head's getting over this. Like, we might not.
Dude, hey, I can already see him like driving into the field or the office, shades on, just like listening to the pod. Just like, yeah, they're talking about me.
100%.
He did have a great first outing though. We're really happy for him.
Yeah.
Can I, just one thing. Pitcher injuries, talk about a lot of pitcher injury talk. I'm a pitching guy. And JMO, we've had a really interesting conversation. I've brought this up on the pod, but talking about like when you guys go through your off-season work, are you getting on the mound earlier than you have in the past? Like when you're trying to make a new pitch, you're trying to like Steele, you're working on a changeup, you're working on a sinker. Like, do you have to throw max effort bullpens to try to find that pitch?
First off, like when I got drafted my first offseason, the team sends you, a schedule. You weren't supposed to pick up a ball until after Thanksgiving. And so like if instructional league ends October 1st or whatever, like you're taking 2 months off of throwing. Now guys don't take breaks. I don't take breaks just because I'm getting older and like my shoulder hurts if I take a break. So I just keep it moving. But so I think the downtime is way less. Guys are throwing, I saw videos of guys throwing live BPs in December.
Yeah.
Back then it was you don't throw a bullpen until the middle of January. But what you asked too, I think there's like a fine line of like I feel like I've kind of found it where you can throw just hard enough to get something out of your bullpen work without risking injury. So for me that's like throwing 87, 88, like I have to hit a certain number. Some guys can do it at I remember I used to see John Lester throw bullpens at PNC Park. He could get something out of his bullpens at probably like 80 miles an hour and just move the right way and put himself in the good positions. If I did that, I would be creating bad habits, but some guys can do it. Some guys throw 95-mile-an-hour bullpen, some guys throw 75.
And I'm sure a lot of that's about like finding, like through your career, like you find that level, right? You find like, okay, at this effort level, I know what I need to do. And like, do you think that guys coming into the game now being taught 100%, like 95, 100% pens of like, if you throw, like we had guys this spring and not like, that were like throwing 97 in a pen. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, we had dudes throwing 97, 98 in pens, and then they get in games, and it's even lower. I'm like, I need a hitter in there and fans and adrenaline to throw my hardest. I couldn't throw in the 90s in a pen if I tried.
Yeah, when you talk about pitcher injuries, like I think that's the and like you're living it every day too, Dakota. But like when you have to get that max effort all the time, because you mentioned John. I talked to John about this kind of when the pitcher injury stuff came out. Just was picking his brain. And he told an amazing story about being with the Red Sox, showing up to camp, and then being like, how many times you get off the mound? It'd be like 2, be like 3. And then Dempster's like, 0. He was like 40. He was like, this is the first time. But you would show up, and then they would build up in spring because you knew you had a job. You knew what you were going out there to make 32 starts that year. And it's just a very different mindset, and I think it's interesting just to hear how guys go about it in the offseason.
How many pens do you guys usually get in now, like before season?
Some guys showed up this year, and it's hard. Like, are you going to tell a kid fighting for a roster spot not to show up ready to go? You know, like it's a weird spot to be in. I probably threw like 6 pens before spring this year, and I was probably on the very low end for our team. Like, I'd say a lot of guys are at 10 or 12.
Yeah, I was kind of on the lower end too. I do a lot of like what you're saying, like when developing pitches, trying to fine-tune pitches and stuff. I do a lot of my stuff in catch play. Like, I put a lot of intent and emphasis on my catch play, especially when I'm trying to work on a pitch and stuff during the off season and whatnot.
And that's like a flat ground, like.
Or not even literally like just playing catch with my partner. Like hit him in the chest, throw a slider off of that heater, throw the changeup, and try and tunnel everything, make it look good. I get a lot of my good work doing that, and then just try to take that to the mound on days that I do have bullpens. But yeah, going into spring, probably the same as him. I probably had like 6 or 7 bullpens. But I try to, like, every single offseason, I start throwing sooner and sooner. Like, I don't really like taking a break as far as, same thing, like, with my shoulder and whatnot. Like, it seems like I take 2 to 3 weeks off, and then I start throwing again. My shoulder's just cranky and pissed off about it. So.
The older you get, the more
it's
body
like I might as well just keep throwing. Like, it wasn't hurting when I was throwing. I'm just going to keep throwing.
Dakota was talking about when he was at Driveline, Nico was like, hey, man, like, coaches sometimes when they want to try stuff out, he's like, yeah, I tried to throw. It was like a little pain back there.
It feels like a knife in my shoulder. But I also did like 0 buildup. I was just like, let's see how hard I can throw this thing still. Yeah. It's not very hard anymore. So I was pretty disappointed in myself.
It goes quick.
Fellas, we appreciate you coming on. You know what we're going to do now? We're going to get Danny Mueller up here to do his hot take.
Oh.
Yes.
Thanks, fellas.
It's electric.
He's like, don't ask me that.
I love that.
Is Danny allowed on stage yet? He's been taking a step every 2 seconds. Let him up here.
Danny, come up here. Come on, Dan.
Come on.
Hello.
How we doing?
We've
Great.
been getting over the past few weeks, month, Danny Mueller's hot takes. Weekly, Danny Mueller we will have a conversation in the clubhouse. Danny will give me some hot takes. Sometimes I text him late at night and I say, Danny, what's the hot take for today? This hot take is brought to you by Bruce Bowl, brucebowl.us. We haven't talked about Bruce Bowl yet.
I was wondering if there's going to be any ads.
Yeah, no, brucebowl.us, the batting gloves that I wear, special big time new batting gloves coming out on the 24th. And I'm very excited for them. I'm very excited. brucebowl.us, if you need any baseball, anything, pants, hats, batting gloves.
Arm sleeves.
Elbow guards, shin guards. The batting gloves that Danny loves that I wear, Bruce Bowl. Okay.
I feel like he doesn't love them as much as you think he loves them.
No, he does.
No, I do.
Look at his face.
I do. And I use it when I golf, actually.
Yeah, he does have a golf club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't rip. Although it ripped on our round in Tampa.
No.
So it immediately ripped.
So, Danny Mueller, head clubhouse guy of the Chicago Cubs. Danny, you've had this hot take brewing.
Yeah.
You've been
I
saving
did.
this one.
Yeah. And I don't think it's going to be very popular amongst most people here, but I know there's a few people who agree with me.
We can't do the thing where you preface it and you say like,
No. See, that I do have to do that because, Tom, he doesn't give me, like, I tell him, like, so many reasons why my hot takes are my hot takes, and he just goes on there and, like, Dan doesn't like Italian food. It's like, no, I like Italian food.
I think that's fair. Ian's not a great messenger for your hot takes sometimes.
No, he's not. He's not.
Ricochets.
He doesn't do me justice.
No, it isn't Danny's argument for why his hot, it's Danny's hot, it's your hot take.
I firmly believe I can convince anyone, anything.
You can't convince them. That's the whole point. You can't convince them. You have to tell them the take.
We got to hear the hot takes.
All right, so my hot take is that Chicago winters are better than Chicago summers.
There's a lot of boos.
There's a couple people that are agreeing. Now,
Well, hold on, real quick. If you agree with Danny, raise your hand.
there's like 7
That's a
people.
smattering of support at best. I'm counting about 12 hands.
Dan,
Let's see disagree.
Dan, can I give you?
Disagree is just the audience.
It's a lot more hands.
Okay, and I'm strictly talking about weather because I do love baseball season. I love my job. I love what I do. But I'm strictly talking about the weather. Was anyone outside the last 3 days? And wasn't it miserable? It was miserable. Today was beautiful, but it was miserable. And I think that it's more fun to be cozy in your house with a fire, some popcorn on the stove.
Yeah. You're literally getting booed for this
That's
take.
fine. I knew I was going to get booed. I knew that this was going to happen. I thought you might agree with me because New York winters aren't terrible.
Can I say this? I remember I went to Illinois State, which is obviously not Chicago, but shout out to my Redbirds. The first time that I went to class in the winter, coming back from winter break, I didn't have gloves on because I was like, it's 8:30 class, but it'll be fine. A cut in my hand opened up and started bleeding. It was so cold. Do you understand how cold it is
Chicago
here?
is a different cold. I do get that too. We have the air conditioner with the lake in the winter, but I'm still with it.
I'll give you, I think it's prettier in the winter than it is in the summer.
See?
I think the scenic is a little better, the scenery.
You know what
100%. I stand by that. I'm with you, Danny.
I do love that Ian's wife, Julie, tries to convince him to stay as long as possible in Chicago in the winters, and he just wants to vanish like a fart in the wind.
You know what I love? I love when we come back for the convention in January and it's -4 with a negative.
Well, that's on Big Jim. That's on Big Jim for picking the wrong weekend when the weather's going to be bad.
Good point.
He can control that.
I think that's one of the most banana. You had ketchup on potato chips, and this is one of the most bananas hot takes you've ever given.
Yeah, what was up with I don't think we'd spend enough time talking about the ketchup on potato.
No, we're not talking about that today. We're not going there. Don't go there. It's just.
Well, we got a live audience. I can start polling and just showing how unpopular these are.
No. That's why they're hot takes. And
Chicago summers. It's the best summer city in the world. It is beautiful. Thank you.
I think you're pandering to the crowd.
No, you want to watch me pander? I will say this, and I do think this is true, even as a Yankee fan. I was walking around Wrigley yesterday at 1:15, 1:20, getting ready to walk over here. There's no place in the world like this place at 1:20 on a weekday when there's a baseball game. Truly, there's nothing like it.
I can agree with that. And if you add baseball into it, then yes, Chicago summers are the best. But weather-wise, give me the winter. Actually, give me the fall first.
I think that should have been the take. You might have been hard.
Well, no, but Ian told me I couldn't do this, but I'm doing it, so.
This is what he does. He explains the whole hot take, and then it's crazy. I just want to say thank you, everyone, for coming out.
Seriously.
This means the world to us.
Thank you to Tom again for all the help, doing all the behind-the-scenes work that I did not know what was going on.
Seriously, though, how long have we talked about doing this? It's so cool to actually see all of you guys here. We had talked about it. The biggest fear when you do something like this is anyone going to show up? So the fact that you guys are here, the fact that you're watching really means a lot to us, so thank you.
Yeah, the planning, the effort, and being here. We appreciate it. One last thing. When I say parsley, you say... Thank you.